What makes Christopher Nolan the most intriguing filmmaker of our time? Is it the time puzzles, the IMAX flex, or the fact that he literally crashed a plane for a movie? Let's spill the tea. Hey, it's Emma. I'm caffeinated, curious, and kind of obsessed, so buckle up, honey. So, Christopher Nolan, British and American, raised in London with summers in Illinois. That binational vibe shows up in how he blends cool British restraint with big American spectacle. He is the mind behind the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, Oppenheimer, and most recently, The Odyssey. He's all about complex storytelling and practical effects. He prefers real stunts and big format cameras over heavy CGI. He was knighted in 2024, and Oppenheimer earned him Best Director and Best Picture in 2023. Like, receipts. Iconic. Personal confession. Inception fully broke my brain in 2010. I walked out of the theater and stared at a spinning coffee stirrer like it was a totem. You know, the little object that tells you if you are awake or dreaming. At first, I was really confused. Dream inside a snow fortress, like we are a Russian doll wearing a ski suit. But then it clicked. He is asking, how do you trust your memory? And if your belief makes reality feel real, is that enough? It messed with me for days. Honestly, it made me nicer to my own messy thoughts. His movies are like, hey, your brain is a maze, and that's fine. Bring a string and take notes. Lesson learned. Layered stories are a feature, not a bug. Once you relax into the layers, the emotional hit lands harder. Okay, let's move on. Eli 5, Nolan Edition. His films are basically escape rooms with feelings. Time is origami. He folds it to show you new angles. Memento flips memory backward. The Prestige doubles down on obsession and identity. Inception stacks dream layers like a club sandwich. Interstellar stretches time because physics. Dunkirk is 3 ticking clocks on land, sea, and air. Tenet runs entropy in reverse. Oppenheimer asks what responsibility feels like when your brain builds the future and the future looks like fire. Quick career speedrun. He starts tiny with Following in the late 1990s. Black and white, weekends, like a $3,000 budget, total DIY. Then boom, Memento in 2000, a reverse chronology thriller that put him on the map. Insomnia in 2002, a studio remake with Al Pacino and Robin Williams, clean and taut. Batman Begins in 2005 revives the Bat with realism. Then, The Dark Knight in 2008 goes IMAX and crosses $1 billion. Inception in 2010 is the mind heist flex. The Dark Knight Rises in 2012 closes the trilogy. Interstellar in 2014 shoots for the stars, literally. Dunkirk in 2017 is pure survival cinema. Tenet in 2020 is time-inverted chaos during a pandemic. Oppenheimer in 2023 wins the big trophies. And in 2026, The Odyssey lands as his most expensive, fully IMAX 70mm epic, with Matt Damon, yes, that Matt Damon, as Odysseus. Now people. Jonathan Nolan, his brother and co-writer, is the guy behind story seeds like Memento and scripts for The Prestige and parts of the Batman saga. Their vibe is brainy scaffolding meets surgical structure. Emma Thomas, his producing partner and wife, runs Syncope. She is the logistical queen who gets these original, gigantic movies made and keeps the theatrical experience front and center. Wally Pfister, his early cinematographer, helped define the slick, high-contrast look up to The Dark Knight Rises. Then, Hoyte van Hoytema, the later cinematographer, pushes the IMAX and 65 and 70mm grandeur on Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, Oppenheimer, and The Odyssey. Composers. Hans Zimmer, the synth church organ guy from Inception and Interstellar, makes time feel like it's breathing down your neck. Ludwig Göransson, who scored Tenet and Oppenheimer, brings this crunchy, percussive brain buzz. Actors. Michael Caine, British legend, is Nolan's good luck charm. Cillian Murphy, Irish actor, goes from recurring roles to full-on lead as Oppenheimer. And Matt Damon, American A-lister, shows up as Odysseus in The Odyssey, stirring a lot of casting discourse. Yes, I saw the takes, calm down. Let's unwrap the business drama, because tell me why this was not reality TV. In 2020, he splits with Warner Brothers after they do day-and-date streaming on HBO Max. He is ride or die for the big screen window, which is the time when a movie lives only in theaters. He goes to Universal for Oppenheimer and negotiates absolute unicorn terms. Total creative control, a 100-day theatrical window, about 20% of first dollar gross, meaning he gets paid from the very first ticket sold, and a blackout so the studio avoids releasing rivals around him. That is leverage. That is slay. And he is not just about shiny toys. He is an analog knight, literally and spiritually, championing film stock, hosting preservation summits in the mid-2010s, even shepherding a 70mm presentation of 2001 at Cannes in 2018. He also sits on boards for preservation and industry welfare. 3 of his films are in the National Film Registry, the Library of Congress list that preserves culturally important movies. Talk about legacy receipts. Okay, let's dissect this for a sec. The big debate, is Insomnia the odd one out? The claim is it's a straightforward studio remake and lacks the puzzle box. Counterpoint, my take. Mid-takes be gone. It absolutely belongs. The moral fog that Al Pacino's detective swims in, that creeping guilt insomnia haze, is the same ethical weather you feel in The Dark Knight and Oppenheimer. It is not a formal labyrinth, sure, but thematically it is Nolan all day. Perception is slippery, truth gets negotiated, and choices cost you sleep. I vote, not an outlier in soul, just a different shirt. And speaking of controversy, the Odyssey's casting and accents got online blowback. People wanted Greek specificity, others wanted access and clarity. I get it, but the film's reception still praised how he threaded memory and identity into myth. And the fully IMAX 70mm approach was a big swing. Sometimes authenticity is a moving target. What matters is coherence, and he delivered that. Just saying. Now for pop culture power. The Dark Knight basically forced the Oscars to expand Best Picture slots after 2008. People call it the Dark Knight rule. His gritty, grounded superhero tone became the template everyone tried to copy in the 2010s. Tenet reopened theaters in 2020 when everything was upside down, and the discourse around it turned into a referendum on theatrical versus streaming. And Oppenheimer made nearly $1 billion as a 3-hour R-rated biopic. That is a flex on the idea that audiences do not want brainy cinema. They do. They just want it to feel massive and alive. Before we go further, we need to address the craft kink. He loves practical effects. The rotating hallway in Inception was a real gimbaled set. Dunkirk flew real planes and put us on real boats. Tenet crashed a literal 747 because, of course he did. Even the Trinity test in Oppenheimer leaned on practical imagery. That tactile grit makes the ideas stick. Your body feels the movie, so your brain believes it. All right, what's next? Next week, I'm getting messy with Ridley Scott, the British director behind Alien and Gladiator. And we are going to talk legacy, director's cuts, and why his work keeps stirring the pot decades later. Bring your hot takes. Okay, we covered a lot. Nolan is the rare mix of box office beast and philosophical chaos agent, knighted, award-showered, and still arguing for film reels and giant screens. Drop your thoughts. Is Insomnia an outlier or just underrated? And tell me your favorite Nolan moment. Bonus points if it made you question reality on a Wednesday. Later.